All right, well, joining us in studio today is our reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa. Mbalenhle, thank you so much for your time. So the latest is that the DA is now accusing Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi of violating the Executive Members Ethics Act. What exactly do you know at this stage?
Okay, well, what we do know at this stage is, I don't usually do this, but I brought a few documents. And what you have here is the very same document that you saw Solim Simanga holding during that briefing. And this is a High Court affidavit that was deposed of by an employee, a former employee of the legislature. And the people who are, or rather the respondents that are then cited in this document are the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, as well as the office of the Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, right? And this was pertaining to it was a contractual dispute that was there before the High Court, which resulted in what might have been a settlement of 6 million rand, right? But the DA has now taken this document and weaponized it and used it to call this briefing, alleging that the Premier, as well as the ANC chief whip in the legislature, called this particular person who brought this matter before the court, Vusmuzi Right Peter Skosana, to a meeting where they were going to discuss issues of officials who had been found wanting in terms of unduly claiming travel allowance, S&T, as well as other things that issues that then that came to the tune of 2 million rand, right? And they're saying that they're using this information from this affidavit to say that the Premier breached his the Executive Members Ethics Act because he was not supposed to be present at that particular meeting, because this then means that there was no separation of powers in terms of the party as well as the legislature. And it would seem as though this meeting was motivated by threats from Nihau saying that those who had been found in wrongdoing should not be suspended and should not face the full course of whatever disciplinary processes that they were facing at the time for this alleged corruption, because they will then not campaign for the ANC just before the national elections. And this was the reason why this meeting was then called, to conceal all these reports that would then put these people's wrongdoing bare for all to see.
And just for the benefit of our viewers, of course, in the affidavits, Kosana said that, just talking about this meeting, in October of last year, he was called into this meeting by ANC Chief Whip Lesego Makubele, which also included the Premier, Panyaza Lesufi, and 4 other ANC legislature members. What has Panyaza Lesufi had to say? Has he, seen what the DA is saying? And has he responded to these allegations now?
I think what is quite interesting with this, we have the statement that says, or the affidavit that alleges that the Premier, Lesego Makubele, is the one who called the meeting and that the Premier was present at the time. However, we don't have the minutes, we don't have the register that would then ascertain that these individuals were indeed at the meeting. And we don't know if, we don't have the minutes, which means that we cannot say for sure that the Premier tried to influence the decision to then let go of an internal investigation into allegations of corruption pertaining to particular
fraudulent travel.
Of course, particular employees and officials within the legislature. What we do have is just this particular affidavit, which really leaves a lot.
To be desired,
not necessarily to be desired, but I mean, it opens you up to a lot of speculation, because we don't have the minutes and we don't have the register.
I mean, one of the questions that has been asked, particularly with these latest allegations, is that, is the DA going on a witch hunt? Had they been a part of the government of provincial unity Was this something that would be done? What did Solim Simang have to say about that?
Well, that seemed to be the theme of this briefing this morning, where different members of the media were asking questions as to how they actually managed to get their hands on this particular document. Now, we know that when a document is before the High Court, it is public knowledge and anyone can go and apply to get it. It is unclear if the DA had spoken to Peter Skhosana, Vusmuzi, right, Peter Skhosana, in order to get this. However, they're saying that they are working with whistleblowers. However, they've protected all the other whistleblowers except for this one, because they're saying that this is a public matter and it's already before the court. So this person's name has been divulged publicly. And this then begs the question, why is this person's name being divulged publicly if this is not somewhat of a witch hunt? And while they do say that this is not a witch hunt and that even if they had formed part of the government of provincial unity, they would still pursue these allegations as vehemently as they are doing right now. However, there's also a concern, and they're saying that they believe that they were not allowed into the government of provincial unity, but we know that they walked away because there were differences when it came to the distribution of those MEC positions. That is the big issue at the moment.
Absolutely fascinating. Mbali, let's leave it there. Mbalenhle Mthethwa there for us, of course, just giving us the very latest in as far as this matter is concerned, with the DA now accusing Banyaza Lesufi of contravening the Executive Members Ethics Act.